is that we are on a journey of some sort. We're on actually many journeys going on at the same time, but we're all on this big thing called our life journey. And who's at the center of every journey? God. The hero. Thank you. God is too. I like that answer. The hero. We're on the hero's journey. And when I say hero's journey, does that bring any author to mind?
Joseph Campbell.
Joseph Campbell. Thanks, Ruth. There you go. So the title came to me first. You know, the journey continues. And instantly I went to, oh, Joseph Campbell, The Hero's Journey. Has anybody ever read The Hero's Journey? Or it's not actually called The Hero's Journey, it's a more complicated title, okay? A handful of you. Well, by golly, I tried. Oof, that is one dense book. And what I discovered is most of us probably know about Joseph Campbell and what he said about the hero's journey from a little show on PBS, right? The Bill Moyers. And we've read books about it, or we've read about it, but I admit I had not actually read it. So I started in and I tried. Ooh. And then I kind of set that aside, and I thought, you know what's a lot easier than reading this dense book that I'm having trouble with? Go to Wikipedia. It'll be a lot easier. You know, really get some deep scholarship going here. So I thought, let me start on the shallow end of the pool here. There's what I think I know about a hero's journey, and then there's what was written about it. It's like the Bible. So much of what we think we know about the Bible, we got secondhand from someone like me standing up here, or what you were told, or just what we all believe we think we know, instead of going back to, you know, kind of what's the source and dig deeper. And that's what I love about Sunday sermons, is digging deeper and being surprised by what else is going on. And what else is going on in your hero's journey. Because every one of you is on this hero's journey. And Joseph Campbell wrote about it from a myth perspective. And his work was based on Jung and a lot of others, Freud even. And so all of our religions have stories of heroes. How many Bible stories can you think of? Who's got a Bible story that's got a hero?
David and Goliath.
David and Goliath. Classic. Who else? Daniel. Who else? Noah. Moses came through. How about in our Christian scriptures? Jesus. Yes. Now let's turn to movies. Heroes' journeys in movies. Who comes to mind? Harrison Ford. Indiana Jones. How many of you are familiar with, have seen, are fond of, had a big crush on? Indiana Jones. I heard Harry Potter. Wizard of Oz. Who is it? James Bond. Alice in Wonderland. We get a chick in there. All right. Yes. Because most heroes that we're naming are probably male, which is one of the points that I'll get to later. So here's so much of what we think about the hero's journey is from movies and books and the Bible and what we've been taught, and how much have we considered what we know about the journey of life from what we've lived. Imagine your journey up on the big screen. Would it look like Harrison Ford as Indiana Jones? Might look a little bit different. So there's a little nugget to start with. Doesn't feel exactly like mine, does it? So maybe there's something else that we're ready to expand into when we look at the journey of our life. Today, we're going to go on a journey of journeys. What do we actually know about this journey that continues, that you are living, the story of your life that you are living? To stop for a moment and take stock. Where have I been? Where exactly is it that I think I'm going? And where am I right now? Take a moment and think about, feel into, where are you right now in your life's journey if you were to map it out? If you were to write a script, where are you right now in your journey? And hold that as we explore what it means to be on a journey and what we can learn. Wherever you are, perfect as it is, simply to take stock and to stop for a moment and to realize that you're on a journey, a bunch of journeys, maybe 3 or 4 right now. Maybe like Jeanette and Hal, you've just moved. Maybe you just went through something at work. Maybe you just got a new job. Maybe you lost someone recently. You're in a journey of a beginning and a middle and an end of that journey. Now, what Joseph Campbell said is that there are stages to a journey. There are some stages to it. Does anyone, especially those of you who read it, I'm sure you memorized it. Anybody know how many steps are in Campbell's map of a journey?
7.
How many?
7.
7. There's several versions of how many steps there are on a journey, and Campbell, at least in one of his writings, has 17 steps. Oi, are you tired already? I am. Can I identify 17 steps of even the life that I've been on? Like, wow, that's a lot to take in. And some people have combined those steps down to 7 and down to 3. I got to call it the beginning, the middle, and the end. Can we go with that for today? Yeah. So in there might be 17 different steps, but hey, a beginning, a middle, and an end. And so much about stories we know through myth. We know through the global stories that we tell. That's the point that Jung was talking about when he posited archetypes, right? That are you the lonely child? Are you the clown? Are you the hero? What archetype is going on in your story? Where are you at in this story? And it's called the monomyth. So when we think about Joseph Campbell and the journey and how it works, it's called the monomyth. That we take comfort from, oh, we're all kind of the same, and there are some similar themes no matter what culture that you look at, and so we can kind of settle in and go, there's the map. That's the map. That's how it works. And for a long time, this book was written in 49. So for a long time, from one century into the next, we've had this kind of ideal about what a journey is. And that's when I started to think, really? Does that work anymore for me? Guess what? The answer was, not so much. That's usually what happens when I start on these things. Like, ooh, that was really cool. And then something shakes up and I go, yeah, not quite me. Not quite me. What else? And that's when we can transcend and include what we have there. We don't have to get rid of everything, but I think it's time for a new way to look at the journey of life, or any journey that you're on. And for you to start thinking about your journey and telling the story the way that you want to tell it, and taking the learnings from it based on what you know. Not what others have told us. Where that's helpful, great, use it, keep it. And when it's not, set it aside. Because here's some things about the monomyth. Bless Harrison Ford, bless Dorothy Gale, bless all of them. But here's some things to think about with the monomyth that we've come to know is primarily, it's patriarchal. Primarily, it was written from last century's white men. And as we are learning more and more today, hey, there's maybe something new going on. Yeah. Blessings. So it's a patriarchal story. Written. Yeah, Sheila, you want to go see if you can? Everybody breathe. It's not always easy. Take things apart. But there are voices that haven't been heard. People of color, women. So we have our own term that we're sheroes now. We've added a term to specifically say, hey, women get to have a voice here in their journey, and so we're also sheroes. So we are once again transcending where we were, including what works for us, and expanding it. So that all voices, so imagine the story that we now see in Black Panther, or other characters that are coming forward. That maybe if you didn't feel like your story was represented, now it is. Because what I've discovered is that it's not such an easy beginning, middle, and end of the journey, is it? There's a lot of mess in the middle, but in the movies and even in the Bible, most of the time, the stories kind of wrap up neatly. You know, yeah, Moses didn't get to the promised land, but everybody else did. There's sort of this message that if you keep doing it and you do it right, you get into that promised land, you get the Holy Grail, you'll get the husband, you'll get the perfect job. And sometimes we do, but how many times has the journey not ended up quite like you thought? Nope, something better was happening, but it was not neat and tidy. And what I discovered is there's no there. A journey is pretty much about getting somewhere, right? Hey, I got somewhere to get. I gotta get to the top of the ladder. I've got to get more money. I've got to get more peace. Whatever it is, I gotta get there. And that's embedded in our culture. More, better, more, better. A journey for more, a journey for better. So therein, I thought, how does that jive with the spiritual teaching of being present? So how can I look at this journey thing a little bit different? Because I'm never there, I'm never done. And I discovered you can't be there. You can't look back where you were and be there, and you can't look forward and be there. There's only one place you can be, which is here. You're so good. You already knew. But how much of the journey is focused on there? A lot of that journey is focused on there. So we miss the journey, right? Life is the journey. So now to pause and to stop and to think, wait, what if there's nowhere to actually get to? If I want to get somewhere and set some goals, well, that's fine. But what if more important than that was the middle? Because I think we're in the middle about 99% of the time. The beginning is the beginning. It's kind of like a flash. Oh, you lose your job. You're now on a journey. That's done. You are now in the middle of your journey. And then you get the new job. The minute you get the acceptance letter, that's the end. And everything else, 99% is in the middle. So right now, we are all in a 99% zone of infinite possibilities. The quantum field is there. It collapses. The wave collapses into a particle briefly, and most of the time it's infinite possibilities. What are your infinite possibilities right now? Maybe there's a turn that you want to take on this journey that you're on. A lot of us are moving, realizing, this housing doesn't work for me anymore. I'm going to take notice, move, job, move. Ooh, this health practice doesn't move. Take a moment and feel into, with the infinite possibilities of all the journeys that I'm on right now. Is there a change of direction anywhere that's trying to bubble up? Am I good right with where I am? Or can I simply be in the question, what about my journey? It's good to stop and think about it, because how many of us were really taught how to take a journey in life? I don't remember that class in school. Like, hasn't a lot of your life just kind of happened to you? How many of you kind of fell into a job or a career? Yeah, how many of you are doing something different than you thought you would be when you were 8? Yes, so there's this, I make life happen and life kind of happens to me. Oh, both and. both and. So right now, as this journey has kind of swept you along, you also get to stop and say, hey, where have I kind of landed? Where do I think I want to go next? Because you're always in the middle, and there is no there. Because when you get there, you are here. All I can hear is be here now, be here now. Ram Dass, be here now, right? Be here now. Best book title ever. Just be here now. So here we are in the now. Taking a look at what we thought we knew about journeys, what we might do differently about journeys, opening up to perhaps the fact that some of what we may have learned or taught or just picked up by osmosis, considering most of us have literally not read the book on the hero's journey, what do we know to be true? What do you know to be true? I think I know that there's sort of a beginning, middle, and an end. I think I know it's not as neat and tidy as I thought it was. I think I know that as much as I love the Unity teachings and as much as I love affirmations, goals, vision boards, it's never worked out the way I thought. Almost never works out that way. There is always more. God is always working. Life is always shifting and changing. So being aware is so important. To be aware and to keep checking in with the map of your life or of a situation that you're in. So think about when you go walking on a trail, or you go even you go to Boston and you walk the Freedom Trail. We were walking some trails this weekend. And so you come up to the map that shows you the whole thing, and then there's a star. And what does the star tell you? You are here. That's it. All these years, all this reading, all this churching, the most important thing is the star on a map that says, you are here. What do you need to know in life? You are here. What will bring you more peace? Understanding you are here. You are here, and it is good. Our first teaching, God, good, everywhere present. You are here. There's a big old star. Doesn't matter where it is on the map. Doesn't matter where you think it should be. I mean, I know a lot of the time, I wish my star were just a little farther up the ladder, you know? I thought I'd be farther along at this point in so many things. And yet I'm right here, and that turns out to be better. It turns out to be perfect, because I'm right here with all of you. We're all right about here right now, or you'd be somewhere else. We're all right about here. Figuring out that it's not so much about pushing, that there are embedded messages that I'm getting more and more aware of that come from a place of white body privilege, that come from a not understanding of the bigger picture. Like for me to say that I understand what a journey is like in Afghanistan right now, very presumptuous. I think, what if I were here looking out at a group of Afghani refugees right now? Would I preach this? I don't know. It would be a much different story. And that really came into my heart to say, how can this be universal, but very specific? And that's the big trend that I take from the research that I did, is that the universality has one gift for us. It makes us feel connected and together. But we need to be careful that we also allow the very specific of each community, of each person, of each gender, that we allow room for their stories and how they might differ, so that we open up who gets to write the book. And those books are being written all the time. Malala, Resma, Ibram Kendi, all sorts of new stories coming out. And maybe you'll write one. The story of your journey. So the journey of journeys that you're all on. Pick one, pick a thing that you're working on in your life. If the big story is too much, pick your career path, or what you want retirement to look like, or how you get to your next vacation, or make more friends, whatever it might be. I'm right here, right now. General sense of where I might go, but let me first drop in, because the most important place, the most important part of your journey, the journey of journeys, is really about coming back to yourself and to realize you've been there all along. To find out that the destination called you are here is the only destination you really need to find. Namaste.